And welcome to the Edward Jones Chatting Cage, everybody. Matt Yaloff along with, you know him as the Hall of Famer Pedro Martinez, a co-worker here at MLB Network. In fact, he's going to be on tonight on MLB Tonight, so you can catch him over the next few days. It's great to have you here inside the Chatting Cage. Good to see you, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah, well, it's my honor, really. What do you like about being on television? What does that do for you?
You know, television allows me to express myself in a different way, and also keeps me like if I was in the dugout. When I was in the dugout, I was having fun, but yes, I was searching for little things that made the difference in the game. Players, why were they so successful or not? Why things happen in baseball? You have to really pay attention to the game and the details that the game has to offer in order for you to realize that every day seems to have something different to offer. And I wanted to do that while I was having fun and I was being, you know, a joker inside the dugout. But at the same time, I was paying attention to the little details. And these studios here, where we are, allows you to see not only the game, but everything that goes on around the stadium. And to me, that's so refreshing because you get to see the game from different angles, different situations. And you don't get that opportunity sometimes in the real game when you're watching from your own eyes.
Right, right. Yeah, if you're in the dugout, you see one angle.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Here we have TVs and screens everywhere.
We have a crew that goes out there and gets everything for us.
Everything. Everybody is on
And
TV.
I love improvising and finding little things about the game.
Well, your wisdom is so valuable to the folks here and also the people at home. But when you're not here,
yes,
what do you do? What do you do with yourself?
I love nature. I love nature. My mom introduced me to gardening at an early age. I love seeing plants or flowers or animals grow. I just love that. I love nature. I love, you know, seeing the suburbs, going across the country, driving, fishing, going on the boat, even if you don't catch any fish. It's just relaxing to see the sea, be exposed to something different, peaceful areas. You know, as you know, in baseball, you live a really under the radar kind of life. So when you get off of it, I totally disconnect. I mean, I'm seriously saying I disconnect.
So no phone.
I could drop the phone inside the boat and not see the phone for as long as I am in the boat. Yes, you have responsibilities, you have kids, you have your wife, you have to call, you have to say, hey, my boat made it back.
Right.
You know, but if it was up to me, no phone.
So it's really a huge difference.
Yes.
From when you played. So do you think it's a direct effect of being under a microscope for 25 years?
I think it's a little bit of both. I have the passion for the things I do when I disconnect. And I also have, you know, everything that comes with it. I understand that being under the microscope is part of the things that I have to deal with. But when I disconnect, it's also part of what I like to do. And when I was under the microscope, I kind of understood that part, not precisely that I liked it.
It's remarkable because in covering the game for me, Major League Baseball, roughly 20 years of MLB, I've never met a player as intense, no, I mean this, as intense during competition and as relaxed away from the field as you. And I mean that. And it's a very interesting dynamic. We have a question for you, and it's not from me, thank goodness. It's a question. Here it is. What was your mindset going to the '99 AllStar game 20 years ago, the famous game at Fenway?
You know, just like everything else, I felt responsible because it was the city of Boston. It was probably the most unique All-Star game I will ever see, not because I was in it, but because of what it meant to the city, to baseball. all the players I was facing. In the air, I was facing those players. I was the starting pitcher in the All-Star game, and I knew that the Boston fan base wanted to see something special. I could leave it up to Nomar, who was also an All-Star that year and could do many things, but I wanted to take responsibility for the part that I had to. And honoring Ted Williams, probably the greatest player that I ever lived. To me, I guess, brought over a little bit of responsibility to go out there and look like what he expects me to look. And not only that, having the all-century players there rose me up to the top because I wanted to say, I could be like one of you. I want to be a big leaguer like you guys were. I want to show you that I am a true big leaguer. So that led me to kind of really put it all together. Boston, the fan base, Ted Williams, all-century players. Plus, I didn't want to get embarrassed in my own stadium. They were really spoiled by me when it came to playing in Fenway. I did really well in Fenway, and I did not want to let them down that year. Neither I wanted to, give it up.
Sure. You faced 6 guys. You fanned Sammy Sosa, Larry Walker, Mark McGwire, Jeff Bagwell, and Barry Larkin.
Yes.
At the height of the offensive years in MLB. Incredible. A video caller now here on the Edward Jones chatting cage. Hello, your name, and what would you like to know from Pedro or about Pedro?
Hi, guys. My name is Alexa, and hi, Pedro.
Hi there, Alexa.
Hi. My question is, back when you played, there was such an intense rivalry between the Yankees and the Red Sox, and today we don't really see it as much. My question is, do you think it's going to ever come back? And also, what was it like playing in such an intense atmosphere?
Well, it's an interesting question because back in those days, I kind of took it personal, the way I approached the Yankees. I did not want any Yankee to kind of embarrass me when I was playing in their stadium, neither in mine. It was like a personal way to say, you may have an edge on us because they were the team to beat. They were the ones that have all those championships. We didn't have any. And for me, it was kind of personal to actually show the world that I was capable of. I just needed a little help. And the rivalry, yes, just like Alexa says, has kind of come down a little bit, but the amount of talent that's coming up from the Red Sox and from the Yankees is going to make it really interesting. Now, how personal they take it, I don't know. But every time we struggle or we lose 2 out of 3 to the Yankees and I was up to pitch, I wanted to make it a personal kind of way to go out there and beat the Yankees. And I sized myself with the pitcher that was pitching that day. And I wanted my right fielder to size himself against the right fielder and the center fielder and say, here we are. Okay, it's Roger Clemens on the mound, 4-time Cy Young Award. I'm only a Cy Young winner probably once or twice, but I'm going to size myself with you and I'm going to try to beat you. And I will go out there with that intensity that I carried normally, that chip on my shoulder, and I'll try to make it happen. You don't see that kind of intensity anymore, I guess because the players are more friendly. I guess they get to see each other so much. They don't have anything. And they don't have a reason to actually hate each other. But now Boston has won a few championships, which makes the franchise and the entire hometown relax a little bit more.
Yes.
I would say Boston was jealous at first because they didn't win any, and the Yankees won so many. But once we did it in 04, especially the way we did it, I think the entire fan base kind of relaxed. Said, oh, we got you, and we got you in a bad way.
Yeah, and now you've got them in the last 2 decades.
Exactly.
Boston is on top in terms of winning it all. A video caller, again, on the chatting cage. Hi, how are you, young man? What's your name, and what would you like to know?
Hi, my name is Mauricio Palmer, and I was just wondering, what was the best moment of your career?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's really interesting. the best moment of my career probably be not precisely the World Series, but beating the Yankees after being all, 0-3.
Yeah.
I think coming back to the Yankees meant a lot more for me than it did during the World Series. The World Series, we knew we could beat St. Louis. But coming back to beat the Yankees, who in 0-3 actually made us suffer probably the worst game I ever had in my career.
That's right.
The worst pain I ever felt in my career for a game was in 0-3, that game 7. And then to come back in 0-4 and beat them after being 0-3 was like more satisfying to me than it was to win the actual World Series. And yes, you want to be part of the World Series, you want to be part of the 0-4 team, and you want to be remembered as one of those guys that brought the trophy to Boston. But in a personal way, coming back in 0-4, beating the Yankees and becoming the American League champions was probably one of the biggest and more satisfying moments for me.
And I like that because that is a team perspective. It's not, well, when I struck out 17, it's about the team.
It's about the team.
And
It's
you
about the team.
played for the team, not
Yes.
for yourself.
Yes, that's right.
All right, another question or comment coming your way right now at the bottom. The best at bat of your career. You were in the NL. You know, people obviously and rightfully, they think of you Red Sox. Well, Montreal in the NL, Philadelphia in the NL, the Mets in the NL. You were up a lot, 400 something times.
Well, I don't pay attention much about my hitting, but I did take pride on my bunting. And I remember leading the league in sacrifices one year, right along with Tom Glavine, someone I really respect and admire. But I think one of my biggest at-bats will probably be either one against Greg Maddux, where I got the RBI for the team, or the other one will be against Tom Glavine. Well, that was the first time I ever hit the ball off the top of the wall. I thought I had a homer, but I didn't.
You named two guys in
Yes.
the Hall of Fame who were contemporaries of yours, who played on a team that dominated the National League for 15 years.
That's why I probably mentioned those two guys, because those two guys, I remember being younger, having a bad team in Montreal after we got rid of all those players, and I asked Felipe, I wanted to learn. I said, Felipe, I want to learn, and I want to find a way to learn quicker, than later. And I said, why don't you try to switch my outings so that I could face guys like Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, and they were all in the same Eastern Division with us.
Right.
So I wanted to always face those guys. And it wasn't precisely because I thought I was going to win. It was just to learn how they went about their business.
Always watching.
Always trying to learn.
Always trying to learn. Another question. They keep coming at us. Here you go. Pedro, do you think Craig Kimbrell's arm hang has any kind of effect on the hitter, the way he sets up, is what they're talking about. And how would you try to intimidate or psych out a hitter? Thank you.
That's interesting. The way he hangs out with the arm like
Yeah.
this does not have any effect on anybody. It's just habits that we develop in order for us to feel comfortable, to get to a zone, or sometimes to distinguish ourselves about how we do things, how unique we want to be. And you have to have your own flair, your own style. You want to be yourself. You don't want to be like anybody. I always told the media when I was asked about my brother Ramon, who's 6'4", tall, good-looking player, and I was a small 5'11 and a half and a smaller and very aggressive, very different than Ramon. Ramon was a cold-blooded. I was very intense, very aggressive, and I remember I used to say, I would love to be like my brother, but I'm not. So I cannot try to be like my brother. I have to be myself. And I was different than my brother. If you watch my brother his entire career, I was different. So Kimbrell is just different. What he does is just to be different, to be unique. And that's good because that determines his own legacy, his own way of doing things. For me, psychologically, to get to anybody, it would be this just cold-blooded look that I will give you. And if you stare me down, I will stare you down. And yes, I was smaller, but I did not feel smaller. I wanted to look at you, and I let you know that what I lacked in size, I had in everything else.
Yeah, and you made that clear, by
And
the way.
determination was one of those things that would let you know that when I looked at you and I stared you down, and you stared me down, and I did not knock it down, I was willing to do whatever it took to beat you mentally, physically, and in the game.
And if you're younger and you don't remember when Pedro was in his heyday, go to YouTube, please, because it was must-see TV. When he pitched, you found a way to see that game somehow. Before MLB Network, before the phones, it was unique. Another video caller. Hello, welcome to the Edward Jones chatting cage. Your name and your question, sir.
Hi, my name is Mike Valvano. Pedro, do you think Dallas Keuchel will make the Yankees better?
I think it would. I think it would. Dallas Keuchel is a guy that has now been exposed to the postseason, even though he's not overpowering like people expect. He's a finesse pitcher, someone that knows how to mingle through the situations, navigate through situations, someone that knows how to handle big stages. The Yankees are poised to go to the World Series or maybe win it. Who knows? They have that much talent. If they get the help that they need from a guy that's actually a vacuum cleaner, that's a guy that sucks in a lot of innings when he's healthy. Now he's only going to have to pitch half of the season. So you can probably literally guarantee that he's going to be there the entire second half. So he's going to be someone that's not a strange to the moment, not a strange to the big stage, someone that really, if he gets the feel for pitching on time, could help any team, not just the Yankees, any team that picks him up.
And he keeps the ball down, right?
Yeah, he does.
That's a big thing.
But I think he does just a little bit of everything. When he has to elevate, he does it. He's really smart, very finesse pitcher, and his staff is still good enough to help any team.
Okay, lightning round. Now, when I ask you a question, Pedro, quick answers.
Yes.
Don't elaborate. Okay, you're
Okay.
ready? Here we go. The favorite pitcher to watch in the game today?
I would just say Jacob deGrom for me.
Very good. Toughest batter you pitched against?
Toughest batter has to be Barry Bonds.
I would imagine. Best advice you received while playing?
That the game keeps going on. Just keep playing the game. Never quit.
Next one. Favorite ballpark to pitch in besides Fenway?
I will have to say probably it's two of them: Shea Stadium and Safeco in Seattle.
In Seattle. Okay.
Yes.
And I love Shea too. But nobody asked me, but I'm telling you, I grew up there. Anyway, favorite teammate you played with?
Ooh, so many.
Yeah, I know.
Geez, so
Pick one.
many.
Pick
I
one.
had so many, but I must say Rondell White and Trot Nixon, those two guys stand up in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And don't ask me why.
Okay, I'm not going to. Because the next question is the manager you enjoyed playing for the most.
Felipe.
He was a big influence in your life for sure with Montreal. Best thing you ever bought yourself?
I would say, given the fact that I had only made that entire postseason and the month I played, was a Reggie Jackson sign ball.
Ooh.
I paid all $250 that I had for a Reggie Jackson sign ball in a silent auction.
Wow. 250?
$250. All $250 I made the entire month.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that was in
From
A-ball.
Mr. October. Very
Yes.
good.
For some Yankee fans that didn't know I had idols and people I liked.
Reggie. Rule change that you would like to see in MLB?
Rule change, would be the athletes like, believe it or not, it has changed so much the way the game is perceived. Lost the aggressiveness, lost too many complaints.
So stop complaining would be the rule.
Yeah, too much whining.
No whining.
No whining.
That's a new rule. We're implementing it tonight. And finally, who will win the AL East in 2019?
I'm hoping it's the Red Sox, but I think it's going to be the Yankees.
Okay. Pedro Martinez, the one and only Hall of Famer, and I'm proud to say coworker as well. Thank you for watching the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. You can see Pedro on MLB Tonight. In fact, at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, that show, I'll be sitting down with Pedro to talk about a whole bunch of different topics that have nothing to do with what we just did here in the Chatting Cage. Take care.